Hope you're doing well today. Today we're talking about measurement and evaluation. This is chapter 15. Here we go. Our objectives are to be able to explain the importance of continuous measurement and evaluation of facility as well as event organizations. Be able to identify stakeholders who provide valuable information for organizations to understand their performance and differentiate measurement and evaluation techniques and the impact that each measure has on the organization's internal and external stakeholders. And lastly, define and articulate the strengths and weaknesses of the various internal and external measurement techniques. So here we go. Evaluation and feedback are essential aspects of sport management as they help you improve your performance, identify strengths and weaknesses, and foster a positive culture among your staff and athletes. Evaluation and feedback are not only about measuring results, but also about enhancing learning and development. By evaluating your sports programs, activities, and outcomes, you can assess what works and what doesn't, and make informed decisions for future planning and improvement. By giving feedback to your staff and athletes, you can acknowledge their achievements, motivate them to grow, and address any issues or challenges they may face. Evaluation and feedback can also help you create a culture of trust, respect, and collaboration where everyone feels valued and supported. The primary way to define success for sports complexes is measuring ROI, or return on investment. This is the primary scoreboard for privately owned sports facilities because they represent an investment by a group or an individual. Understanding the ROI for a sports complex can help improve decisions in three primary ways: programming, marketing, and business development, and operations. Sport tourism facilities often define success by the economic impact that it has on its home community. When events are hosted, non-local athletes and spectators come to the venue and spend money on the event itself and on items that support their visit, such as food and beverage and lodging. They may also purchase items from local shops and visit attractions during their trip. In terms of lodging, communities measure hotel taxes in addition to direct spending. This is spending that doesn't take place if the event is not being held. For parks and recreation, sports facilities are often fulfilling the desire to enhance the health and wellness of their communities. In this case, success is measured by the facility's number of participants and programs. It may include the number of members at a community fitness center or participants in summer camps or youth sports leagues. Community recreation centers may look at the overall impact that participation in their programs has on the surrounding community. The social impact of community recreation is important regardless of the location, but it's particularly important when it comes to increasing participants in underserved areas. While facility usage or program attendance are the primary key performance indicators, success may mean a decrease in juvenile crime and an increase in school performance among certain age groups. For sport tourism destinations, the goal is to develop a facility that comes to define a community. When performing well, these facilities build a positive reputation for a community and brings guests from throughout a region or even across the country. This produces two measurable outcomes from an economic development standpoint. Additional people coming to a community to participate and attend events provides exposure for the community that can spark population growth and new tax revenues resulting from that growth. Secondly, population growth can lead to new commercial and residential development opportunities. Lastly, sports and recreation facilities are increasingly becoming the anchors for multi-use developments. The key performance indicators, or KPI in this case, is the opportunities that are generated because of the presence of the venue. In turn, these multi-use developments can provide a measurable boost to the local economy by generating sales, hotel tax revenues, and or property tax revenue. Management has been defined as a continuing process of identifying, measuring, and developing the performance of individuals and teams and aligning performance with the strategic goals of the organization. It is a process of improving organizational performance by informing management decisions with appropriate planning, objectives, targets, performance measurement, and review. Towards an Excellence Service, or TAES, identifies 8 key themes that influence the quality of cultural services with equality, and service access integrated into everything. Leadership, policy and strategy, community engagement, partnership working, use of resources, people management, standards of service and performance measurement and learning. It is very common for performance indicators to be calculated on an annual average basis. However, there are good reasons for wanting operational performance indicators to be available on a far more regular basis. Decisions about promotion, programming, and staffing arrangements may be modified at any time, so a regular flow of up-to-date information assists such decisions. For operational issues such as admissions and staff hours used, this might be a daily or weekly check, whereas for overall business performance, monthly and quarterly checks are the conventional norms. Measurement of performance is not an end in itself and is only valuable if it is used to add value to the process of management in a business by being the basis for action where necessary. First, it is necessary to consider the characteristics of indicators that can help to ensure that proposed indicators will be useful and effective. Second, it is important that the data collected is reliable. Good quality data is the essential ingredient for reliable performance information. Targets are precise statements of what it is to be achieved by when. They are an obvious implication of measuring performance indicators which reflect management objectives. A target provides a concrete and unambiguous reference point against which to ask, is this objective being achieved? A target typically takes the form of a numerical target. Evidence of previous performance or evidence of the performance of similar organizations elsewhere provides a quantitative basis for setting targets. Such evidence enables the target setter to reach the difficult balance between ambition and realism. Targets need to be challenging, but they also need to be achievable. If they are too easily reached or if they are impossible to reach, they quickly fall into disrepute. Targets can and do change in the course of time. They need to remain under continuing scrutiny for their relevance to the operating circumstances of the organization. It is also likely that the organization will want comparisons to be made with other similar organizations. Benchmarking is a process which facilitates this. Data benchmarking involves comparison with numerical standards or averages calculated for performance indicators in a particular service. They are typically organized into relevant categories or families of similar organizations. Process benchmarking involves comparison of different procedures adopted in different organizations, used in conjunction with performance data. Process benchmarking facilitates an understanding of the procedures which improve performance. External benchmarks for performance are important because they enable a judgment to be made on the relative performance of an organization, which in turn gives a competitive impetus to the organization. They also enable other bodies to assess the relative performance of each organization. Data should be recorded and used in compliance with relevant requirements, including the correct application of any rules or definitions. This will ensure consistency between periods and with similar organizations. Where proxy data is used to compensate for an absence of actual data, organizations must consider how well this data is able to satisfy the intended purpose. Reliability data should reflect stable and consistent data collection processes across collection points and over time, whether using manual or computer-based systems or a combination of both. Managers and stakeholders should be confident that progress towards performance targets reflects real changes rather than variations in data collection approaches or methods. Timeliness data should be captured as quickly as possible after the event or activity and must be available for the intended use within a reasonable time period. Data must be available quickly and frequently enough to support information needs and to influence the appropriate level of service or management decisions. Relevance data captured should be relevant to the purposes for which it is used. This entails periodic review of requirements to reflect changing needs. It may be necessary to capture data at the point of activity, which is relevant only for other purposes, rather than for the current intervention. Quality assurance and feedback processes are needed to ensure the quality of such data. And completeness data requirements should be clearly specified based on the information needs of the organization, and data collection processes match to these requirements. Monitoring missing, incomplete, or invalid records can provide an indication of data quality and can also point to problems in the recording of certain data items. The scale of service quality for recreation sport, or SSQRS, was developed to assess participants' perceptions of quality and recreational sport programs. It includes 4 factors of program quality: interaction quality, outcome quality, and physical environment quality. The first dimension of SSQRS is related to program quality, which refers to the participants' relative perception about the excellence of the program. The range of activity programs, operating times, dissemination of program information are typical of the items included in this category. Interaction quality is the second dimension of the instrument. The interaction quality is the subjective perception of how the service is delivered and reflects the participant's perception of the interactions which take place during the service encounter. An employee's behavior, attitude, and expertise are typical of the items included in this category. The third dimension is outcome quality. This dimension refers to the outcome of the service act and represents what the participant receives from the service. In other words, in this dimension, the participant evaluates the outcome of the experience in terms of the physical, such as fitness and skills, and social benefits, and overall attitude toward what he or she actually gains through the services. There are 13 items that comprise that particular dimension. The physical environment quality is the last dimension of the survey. Physical environment has been perceived as one of the most important aspects in the participant service quality perception and service evaluation. Ambiance, condition, facility design, and equipment are typical of the items included in this category. Ambiance condition refers to the background characteristics of the environment, such as temperature, lighting, noise, music, and scent. Design quality is defined by both the functional and aesthetic nature of the facility. Equipment includes the devices used to enhance the sport experience. They should be in usable condition. In addition to the above 4 dimensions of service quality, a section of the instrument includes customer satisfaction. A participant develops a service quality perception and a level of satisfaction after the participation experience. A highly satisfied participant tends to be committed to a particular service and eventually becomes a loyal customer. Therefore, it is important to assess customer level of satisfaction. And the last section of the instrument assesses level of satisfaction and includes 4 items adapted from Oliver's 1997 satisfaction scale. And that is all I have for today. We will be going into more of the internal and external aspects of the triple bottom line and talking about measurement and evaluation. I look forward to talking with you soon. Have a great day.